Hi YouTube, my name is Ras, and this is Algu Games, a YouTube channel where we talk about tabletop role-playing games, board games, and for today, I'll be talking about something that occupies the fuzzy space in between. This is Oh Captain, My Captain, a quick play fantasy RPG in a box. For part 1 of this video, I'll be unboxing this game. As I'm unboxing it, I'll be talking about it and assessing it as a physical product, after which I will be taking this game out to meet some friends and to a local gaming convention so that I can give my review and final thoughts at the end of this video. If you are ready, let's set sail. Alright, so I've got my camera set up. No doubloons or pet monkey or pet parrot, so I hope this golden tower would suffice. So I actually pre-ordered this game on Amazon after receiving a newsletter by James D'Amato, the creator, and I pre-ordered it immediately because I've heard an actual play on his podcast, the One Shot podcast, many years ago, maybe 5 years ago. I remembered that he ran an episode of this game called For the Queen, which I only got a few years ago, right before it went out of print. And after it went out of print, I was so upset because I thought this game would make such a great present for anybody who was interested in the hobby. And then when I found out that his spin on the game, Oh Captain, My Captain, was going to be out this year, I definitely had to pre-order it. I have so many things I would like to say about the One Shot podcast, and James, if you are watching this video, if you ever get a chance to see this, I would love to thank you so much, but I think that's not what people are here for, so let's just quickly unbox the game. This is my first time unboxing anything in front of a camera, so I will be as careful but as fastidious as I can be. Probably speed this up too. Right. The game looks great from the outside. Illustrations are done by Sarah Richard, both cover design and the cards inside. I do have a criticism. I think that the game does not show how long it would take to play it and how many players. If it's anything similar to For the Queen, it will be 2 to 6 players and 30 to 120. I think one of the unique selling points is that you could tell an entire story in an hour or less, but I think it would be better to put it more explicitly. So if they ever do another print run, yeah, that would be great. Wow, fantastic. That looks great. I think the first thing that I noticed is that this box is sturdy. It's heavy at the bottom and it slips out slowly, but it's fast enough for you to catch it. Not a big fan still of this sort of box because I tend to toss these games in my bag and cards can spill out as it has with For the Queen, if you notice how quickly the box collapsed. This one's a bit stiffer, might have some of the same trappings, but look good. Alright, cardstock is good, pretty sturdy. Cards feel good, well sized, tarot card size, I think. And wow, this art is fantastic. Alright, I'm super happy. I know I'm already gonna like this game design wise. The rule summaries and the rule cards are here, I think. And these are the question cards. The art is immaculate, and the core mechanic of the game is so simple, you could really teach it to anyone. So I will briefly explain the mechanics of the game. Now I'll do a brief teach of Oh Captain, My Captain to illustrate how simple it is to teach the game. So this is all the contents in the box. I'll remove the miscellaneous cards and the rule cards. So at the start of the game, we want to talk about the premise, and to best explain the premise, you read the story cards out loud to everybody, but actually the main story can also be found here on the box. So basically, you are part of a crew led by a legendary captain, and you've fallen on hard times, but the captain has emerged with a plan to turn everything around, and it involves looking for a prize. So these terms like captain, prize, and hard times are extremely ambiguous, but that's what makes the game replayable, because at the start of the game, the players will collectively decide on which of these cards will best represent the captain that they want to be supporting and undertaking on this perilous journey with. And it doesn't have to be these generic pirates as suggested on the cover of the box. A captain can also be, from a different culture, maybe more familiar to our real world culture, or even a fantasy captain. This looks like a captain of some sort of steampunk Viking orc society. We also have captains of sports teams, cheer teams, racing teams, or maybe a superhero squad. So the options are extremely vast based on these illustrations. But for the sake of this demonstration, I will just pick the generic pirate captain. After which, you will bury the decision card, and this decision card leads to one of 4 endings. You'll bury this decision card somewhere in the deck based on how long you want the game to be. The game says for 1 hour games, it will be about 12 cards, so we'll bury it somewhere there. And then the game begins by having one person, the spotlighted person, open up one of these cards and answering the question as honestly as they can in relation to their role-playing character, and they'll build this character as they go along. So the captain once gave you a reward that filled the crew with jealousy. Why was the captain's blessing worth the crew's scorn? And right now at the top of my head, I imagine myself to be a young boy who was recently found as a stowaway on a ship. And even though the rest of the crew sees me as a cowardly burden upon their already starving crew members, the captain instead takes me in, teaches me how to dance, and puts on nice clothes on me, which incites so much jealousy with the rest of the crew and leaves them wondering why the captain would shower such favor upon me. So immediately with these cards and these extremely leading questions with a strong assumption, we begin to create a story together, and the crew members can then continue to interact with my character, and different people in the circle can ask me follow-up questions to continue to further flesh out the story. After this, the game continues with every other player revealing and answering the question up until we reach the decision card, in which all players will take a vote to define the character of the captain and define the prize that the captain has been trying to take us all to uncover. And I will not spoil the 4 endings, but there are 4 different endings, each of which are also carefully worded so that you can reinterpret and tell a different story every time. And of course, at any point in this game, because this game is so built on consensus, players may choose to pass questions to other players if they feel other players are more qualified or more suitable to answer those questions based on their role-playing characters. And other players may also choose to press the X card if they feel that the topics that are being discussed are uncomfortable, and players will have to facilitate and make space for one another. And that's really all it is. And yet in its simplicity and its elegance, I think there are a lot of stories and potential for many great role-playing moments. So I've had some chance to play this game over the weekend with some old friends and new, and I would say Oh Captain, My Captain is definitely worth picking up. It is an affordable game, it is portable, and it has good production value, as I've already mentioned, but most importantly, it delivers on its promise of being a great role-playing and storytelling experience in an hour or even less. The game is so simple to teach. You can get started in maybe 10 minutes, and just by answering questions, just by spotlighting different people, taking turns to answer difficult questions, players are already creating complex characters, not just in a silo, but in relation to an important figure, that being the captain, and the larger world around them. Because they have a crew, players can ask each other questions, and these questions are important. They become part of essential world building to further the story. They become part of incidental world building to create flavor. And the flavor, the world building, all eventuates into very emergent storytelling. It just feels very magical. I can't really fully explain it, and by the end of the session they feel, wow, we've told this story together and it wasn't so difficult. And it's in its simplicity, you know, you don't need to learn a handbook full of rules, you don't need somebody to have done prep before the session, which I think game masters, they enjoy it, but they sometimes feel burdened as well. So this would be a great filler game. This is also a great game, a great toolkit for experienced role players, players or GMs alike. If you are a player and you want to roll up a character before you start your wider game of maybe Pirate Borg, you can use these cards to ask yourself some questions, and you even get a nice NPC in a pirate captain as part of the deal. For GMs, of course, this game is extremely modular. You can use it as part of your session 0. And for solo role players, you can of course use this in any way you see fit. I do think I have one small quibble of this game, and that is being the rules. Looking at the rule summary here even, you realize that there's a lot of text. I think the game designer, James, really wanted to insert some best practices, some tips, and he really wanted to help players understand how it would feel as they are running the game. But I think in doing so, he made the rules a bit too bloated. It just feels like it's a bit too much onboarding when briefer rules would already have done the trick. Beyond that, I have no other criticism of Oh Captain, My Captain. In fact, I give it full praise. I would recommend it to anybody interested in role-playing. And with that, I come to the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like content like this, you want to see more, please like and subscribe. This is my first ever video and I would love to do more. And if you have any stories of your experiences with this game or any other role-playing game, leave them in the comments below. I would love to share your experiences as well. And with that, I'm Ras from Algo Games. See you next time.